As you know, Dwayne Wade has a daughter who transitioned from being his son.
Oh my God.
You don't know this?
No.
You don't know this. That's very interesting.
You can't keep track.
Dude, how many fucking things does Hollywood Unlocks post in a day? Anyway, the title of the blog post is Dwayne Wade's ex-wife accuses him of exploiting and pressuring their daughter Zaya's gender change for financial gain. So this has been like a pretty big story in the media and everything because, you know, amongst the sort of like mainstream black world, probably not that many examples that you could think of somebody famous whose fucking kid wants to transition in their early teens, right? Because this is such a big discussion that people are always having sort of in the abstract about kids transitioning and what's appropriate and at what age they should be allowed to start taking puberty blockers or whatever the fuck they want to do. And so you've had a lot of people like fucking Boosie who's kind of got dragged through the mud because he had the gall to say that Dwayne Wade was fucked up for letting his son transition, whatever the fuck.
What was the child born as, man or woman?
A man.
Born as a man, wanted to become a woman.
Look at the picture on the left and then look at the picture of the person on the right.
Not a bad-looking chick.
Okay. Still underage, but...
It's a man, all right?
No.
It's not creepy if I say an underage boys.
Do not, how dare you. But anyway, where were we? You scrolled past it. Okay, here we go. Dwayne Wade's ex-wife, whose name I could never pronounce in a million years, has reportedly filed legal paperwork this week as she accuses her former partner of exploiting their 15-year-old daughter Zaya for financial gain while making a string of other serious allegations against the former NBA star. According to The Blast, who claimed to have obtained the court docs, his ex-wife believes that Zaya is being pressured into transitioning to become female by her dad, who she says is poised to profit from the move. She stresses that considering Zaya is only 15 years old, she wants the court to rule in her favor by preventing her daughter from officially making her gender change until she's an adult. I have concerns that Dwayne may be pressuring our child to move forward with the name and gender change in order to capitalize on the financial opportunities that he has received from companies. Her attorney, Mark Gross, continued that Dwayne could ultimately make a fortune from potential companies looking to work with Zaya, including but not limited to deals with Disney. This matter has been highly reported on in the media, and there will likely be a media pressure on the minor child. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Dwayne Wade. I don't know anything about his character or what he's like as a person, if people generally consider him to be a liar or whatever. The idea that he would be coercing his child into wanting to transition their gender and that his current girl would be on board for it and that the kid would gladly be going along with it. This is like a deeply cynical perspective, right? Like this is very hard for me to believe that there's any financial status that he might be able to reach that would actually make him feel like this was a real decision. And when I look at like his ex-wife, I mean, think about her motivations, you know? She probably has all kinds of reasons why she wants to get at this motherfucker.
Well, let's break it down. For the financial thing.
Right.
Absolutely, there are opportunities that come to those who transition. An example.
What are those opportunities besides just being on TMZ every fucking day? Josh, do you know of him like seeming to have benefited from this financially? Like,
well,
he looks good to the woke crowd for sure, but that's not financial.
That's
so
nice.
Much.
Yeah,
they have made it very public. That's fair. Yeah.
Having a child transition is the great eraser, especially if on the team airplane you might have grabbed a cocktail waitress's ass on the way to the Orlando Magic game. Okay. Well, let me say this, Adam. I don't know if you heard about this. Did you see, speaking of Mormons, the guy from the Book of Mormon recently transitioned and has been transitioned for less than a year, not the South Park guys, but one of the performers, very talented performer in the show, transitioned and within, I think, 200 or 300 days was invited to the White House to interview Joe Biden on various matters.
Wow.
That's how quickly your profile can increase, especially if you already have a little bit of notoriety. Being the child of Dwayne Wade certainly qualifies. It is lighter fluid on a little grass fire.
But this is this thing that people do where they perceive how a person is benefiting from a situation, and then they assume that the facts that led up to these benefits are probably a conspiracy theory. The same way that people saw me when I had the guy put the gun in my face. I'm on Logan Paul's podcast the next day, and I'm on fucking Inside Edition, and I'm doing all this media and stuff, and I'm getting all these views from it, and people couldn't help but think, oh, he must have faked the whole thing because look at how he's benefiting from it. And it's like, no, I'm just making the best of a situation. So it's like the idea that he would actually be willing. I mean, I just think you would have to know a lot more about a person in order to assume that they were actually capable of this kind of lunacy. And it also stands to reason, somebody on Twitter showed me that Dwayne Wade apparently made $200 million during his time in the NBA.
Okay. He's got a lot of money. Doesn't need to profit much more.
And it's not like people who have a lot of money don't want to make more money. I'm just saying this is probably not somebody who feels a lot of the same financial pressures that other people feel.
And I'm not saying yay or nay, he did this for any reason, but I think we should get to the bottom of it. I think a good way to start would be for Mikey and Sid over here. Mikey, right? I got to.
I think Zaya needs to come on this podcast and let us talk to her.
We'll talk to Zaya.
We can get to the bottom
of
this.
And I will apologize for saying I think she'll like that I said she was pretty. That was not meant to be sexual, Adam. And I'm sorry for the pronoun bobble.
Non-sexual pretty.
That was the bobble was bad on my part.
Well,
I'm sorry, Zaya.
You could say a baby is pretty, right? If you meet my fucking 2-year-old daughter and you say, "Oh, she's so pretty,"
I'm gonna watch my mouth when I'm complimenting the looks of your female daughter.
That's a non-sexual pretty.
Yeah.
You could say pretty in a non-sexual way.
Okay, so I nailed it. But I want these two to scrub Dwayne Wade's Twitter starting around the year 2016, really amping up around the year 2020. I think we can find the breadcrumb trail. I think we can see where he's at ideologically, and that'll give us a little bit of a clue.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think Dwayne Wade knew a whole lot about trans people before he ended up in this situation.
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just trying to. It seems like you got your mind made up about this.
I'm down to get deeper into it. I just think that the idea that this would be a logical course of action for him, and trust me, I'm somebody who's kind of watched this play out in the public eye, and I have wondered, like what is the appropriate age for a kid to start this transition? I don't fucking know, and I assume that there are some parents who rush their kids into it too quickly, and we've heard horror stories for sure, especially when it comes to some of these lunatic progressive parents or whatever. They're just in a race to try to impress everybody by transitioning their kid at a super young age or whatever, but I mean, to put that on him.
Is it too late to transition Bossa Nova? It looked really good for the studio.
Ever since I saw that Ice Spice fit. Well, actually, I didn't see him in a gray miniskirt, but I heard about it.
It sounds like he's already on his way.
Yeah.
How far have they gotten into it with Dwayne Wade's daughter?
I don't know. I doubt that there's been any
chemical or
I
Adam's
assume
made a cutting motion.
They got to be on puberty blockers or some shit, right?
So that's my issue with it. And granted, my only research on this subject really is watching the Daily Wire What is a Woman documentary.
Oh my God.
Have you seen it?
Definitely what you should base your entire opinion on. And yes, I did. I spent like $13 fucking bucks to watch that shit.
It was good though, right?
No, it was stupid as fuck.
What didn't you like about it? What do you disagree with?
I thought it was very insincere. I mean, I enjoy the theater of like putting an idiot on camera, and especially like the revelation that a lot of these gender studies professors are fucking morons and that they don't make sense on anything. But I think that there is like a much more nuanced conversation to have about what a woman is, just because I think that a lot of people think that the explanation is a lot simpler than it really is, because there is like performative womanhood. Like if you put a long wig and a dress on, it's like you're gonna kind of look like a woman to me, even though you're not biologically a woman or whatever. But I just have had this discussion with like Destiny, and like I've listened to Destiny talk about it in such length that I just think it is a far more nuanced question than that documentary ever even began to hint at. That documentary to me felt more like it's like satire. It reminded me of Borat. It's like, look, we're going to get the dumbest people we can. We're going to put them on camera, and then we're going to ask them a bunch of questions that we know they're not ready for. It's basically like did you get any like profound intellectual stimulation from Steven Crowder doing the change your mind thing at colleges?
No, it was pure entertainment.
Because you know what it is. It's like, we're going to ask a bunch of 19-year-olds about their fucking pronouns or whatever and make them look stupid.
I agree with you that so I have no problem with obviously the transgendered people. Like I'll call you by your preferred pronouns. No issue with it whatsoever.
Right.
But one thing that documentary did draw some attention to for me. Sorry, we're being photographed for the thumbnails right now, and at this point in the show, it's always important that we look good.
Right.
I'm waiting for me. The one thing that did ring true for me was the argument they made that a lot of these pharmaceutical companies are supporting the transgender movement, not because...
He's not even pointing at you, dickhead.
Dude, I don't fucking... Listen to me.
Oh, Phil's telling me my hair looks weird.
I think it looks quite good, Phil.
Oh, I had my hoodie on, so my hair looks weird? Since when does the photographer tell me to fix my hair? But I guess it's fair.
The pharmaceutical companies, to me, that documentary made it seem plausible that they are very concerned with the healthcare of trans children, not because they think it is good for them psychologically long term, but because it is profitable for the pharmaceutical companies now and long term, because all of the maintenance.
If I own a pharmaceutical company and it is basically like the law of the land that as a corporation that you have to profit maximize.
Yeah.
And you realize like, oh, we have customers out there who want to utilize our services. What are you going to do? You're going to fucking engage, right? Like, I mean, yeah, you're going to try to encourage as many trans surgeries as possible. That's capitalism, buddy.
Yeah, I guess so.
This has been a clip from my new podcast, SledgeLords with Danny Mullen. We're dropping a new episode every week, so either hit the link in the description or search up the Adam22 channel on YouTube. Appreciate you guys.